A rail of clothing there.
Yeah, I just took along a selection of upcycled pieces and pieces that I've made from vintage fabrics, because I buy a lot of vintage fabrics as well. And it was great. It was great to see people kind of interacting with the clothes, trying them on, walking around in them, that kind of thing. Because a lot of people think of upcycled clothes or recycled items or sustainable fashion, even almost like costume. They don't think of them as things that you could wear every day, or to go out in, or things like that. So I do try to kind of smash that idea that it isn't all kind of costumery, kind of flamboyant pieces. It could just be a t-shirt that you've upcycled, and you can wear every day, and people quite often will say, oh, where did you get that from? Or because it's unique and it's one-off.
And where better than Broad Hill Market to do that experiment, where it's just so people can walk around in your clothing and just do their everyday shopping, which is what happened. It was a great event. What surprised me was how many people came along.
Yeah,
which was really nice. It was a bit of a last minute call out for various reasons, but people did turn up and were enthusiastic about it, which was really nice to see. Yeah. I didn't personally try on anything on the day. I kind of live now in regret that I didn't do that.
See, I did. I had most of them on. I think what was amazing was there was a live that was broadcast from Brierley Hill Market, and I think, was it
14,000
views upon that. It was actually, I'm trying not to take it personally, it was our highest social media kind of link almost. We didn't get that for the rest of Green Week, but you've bumped our numbers up, so thank you very much for that, Burbo. But yeah, it was really popular.
Yeah,
it was just too cool to be true.
Well, it was. I was actually in that shop before the pandemic hit. My friend Kitty had the shop, and I was up on the first floor. And then during the second lockdown, she decided to close because obviously we didn't know where retail was going or whatever. And then the guy who took it over and turned it into a barber shop, and then there's a ladies' hairdresser in the back. It's called Half Cut Barber Shop. And he spotted me in town and he said, "You're the guy who makes the dresses. Do you want to take your old room back?" So that was just, brilliant, because my clients love it there because it's really central. It's just off the M5, and it's really easy to get there by bus. Lots of free parking, whereas before, when I was in the city centre, I was in the jewellery quarter. You've got the congestion charge, you've got the parking fines, so people are spending like £30 before they even come and see you. Or train fares, or
presumably in Halesowen you've got the 2 hours free parking on the council car park, same as we've got here. All those things going on, and then great to have the hairdressers and the barber shop in there as well, so you can do your whole look. You could find a dress.
Yes, you can come and we've also got the tea room open now as well. We've got a tea room in there as well, so that's open a few days.
Is that part of your shop?
Yeah, it's on the first floor next door to me. So we've got that open at Gelder's Tea Parlour. We've got that open as well. So and we're taking private bookings for it, and events, and reading clubs and things like that. So yeah,
of course. A little bit about your unit shop on the first floor. Has it got a name, the shop, or is it just Burbo Couture?
Burbo Couture.
And is the cafe got a name? I like things with a name.
Gelder's Tea Parlour.
Gelder's Tea Parlour.
Yes.
And is that because somebody called Gelder is involved?
Yes, Jason Gelder.
Right, okay.
he's the owner.
And is it just tea, or is there sandwiches?
It's tea, coffees, cakes, and then you can order in advance for full afternoon tea.
Wow.
Or it is literally a parlour. It seats about 10 people, and you can order it, book it for meetings and like staff meetings, interviews, that kind of thing.
And I can try on fashions as well while we're there, or
yes, absolutely. If you were of the fashion persuasion, you will get dragged across the landing.
There's no questioning. Yeah, I can say that on the radio and get away with it.
I'm actually looking at extending what we're doing there, because we've just recently reopened the tea room, and so the actual hallway, the stairwell and the hallway and the landing, we're actually repainting it, and we're actually inviting local artists and makers to actually stock with us. so that it actually becomes more than a separate tea room and boutique stroke studio. It becomes more of a kind of immersive experience where you can come and have a look at the art, have a look at the crafts, have a look at the fashion. I also do vintage clothing as well, and stop and have a cup of tea.
So you're spreading like a cultural virus throughout the.
Yes.
I'm expecting 2 or 3 shops to be taken over.
And there is no cure.
There is no cure. Yes, brilliant. There's no cure on this show this week. Right, then. Right. So you've got other things in the pipeline. Other things coming up. I've seen some things about you going into different award ceremonies and things lately. I think that was presenting awards.
Just had sort of like the busiest 3 weeks ever. It sort of all kicked off when I was asked very kindly to give an award for the best fashion student, the most accomplished fashion student at Ekho College. I was invited to their end of year fashion show, which was amazing. And then I gave the award to the winner. His name escapes me right now. Sorry.
We could probably find it on
yeah. And then I did a show on Sunday, a week on Sunday, with a group called Elements of Couture, and we did that at an event space called The Hangar in Wolverhampton. The Elements of Couture run fashion events where they are a model competition, so they do a modelling boot camp, and then the models enter the competition. There's lots of different categories like mature model, plus size model, petite model, catwalk, high fashion model, different categories. And then they invite fashion designers to actually show their collections, so that the models have got something to model. A week on Sunday, that was 2nd of July. Either side of that, I did 2 shoots, which were to back up another show that I'm doing in October at the Burlington Hotel in Birmingham. And because they want me to headline the show, or do the finale rather for the show, they asked me to submit all the clothes and all the styling for the promotional. So I've been styling 2 photo shoots, which was amazing. Great photographers, great models. What else have I been doing? It's been an absolute whirlwind the last couple of weeks.
So you've had to photograph all the stuff that you are planning to put in that show?
No, just from my label. So for the actual show in October, I'll be designing a completely new collection. But they wanted, because I'm doing the finale of the show, they wanted me to be represented on the promotional
material, which is coming out now.
Yeah.
Patreon
page, my subscribers page. And then last week, I was invited to attend the National Youth Summit with a group called Cooperative UK to talk about sustainability in business and working with collaborators as a cooperative. So I was there to sort of represent the fashion industry, and more specifically the sustainable fashion industry. So yeah, it's been busy.
Well, sustainable fashion is very important. I was reading recently about our modern fabrics and freshly, newly purchased fabrics. When you wash them, and even just when you're walking down the street, they're giving off microplastics into the environment.
Yeah.
Which obviously, when you're reusing clothing, which has still got a life in them, there's not so much of that going on because it's already happened to some extent. But also just, using the old fabrics, not these modern synthetic things. But you were saying about using vintage materials. Are they actual vintage style materials, or actual you're getting old stock vintage material?
Old dead stock fabric, yeah. I have this amazing lady from Old Hill, not Old Quarry Bank, sorry. And she used to have a curtain shop years and years and years ago. And then when she gave up a curtain shop, she now runs a charity. And she has this huge warehouse full of rolls of 80s and 90s fabric.
It's like a time machine.
So the whole kind of 80s revival and all that kind of thing, genuine 1980s printed fabric.
Gosh.
Silks, some of the silks are just beautiful because you've got to remember that a lot of times curtains would be backed, so and that would give them the weight. So, but the top layer would be a fabric that can actually be used for making clothes because it's light enough. So the silks and the satins and that kind of thing are just beautiful.
Aren't they very difficult to work with, those silks, with the sewing and things? You need special equipment?
No, I tend to have a big issue with jerseys and stretch fabrics. I hate working with them. No, anything that's sort of flat and I can sew, then I'll go with,
Okay.
Neshi.
Right.
Neshi jeans, it's called, which means that it's somewhere between a domestic and an industrial. It's shaped and it's the same size as a domestic, but it's very heavy and it's quite heavy duty. You can use quite heavy duty fabrics under it.
I'm quite clued up on sewing machines now because there's a lady at the market who ran a fabric store there until recently, and she had quite a collection underneath 3 of the tables. I think there were like 14 different sewing machines.
Is that Penny from Fabricanza?
So she's
you went and got some fabric, didn't you?
I love Penny from
Penny is
Fabricanza.
amazing.
Yeah. She popped in to see me the other day.
She's moved to Blackheath now.
Yeah, she has.
Blackheath Market. But welcome back in Bride Hill anytime, Penny. And she'd collected them because we were going to do a community project with like a sort of chat and drink tea thing, but at the same time learn how to use a sewing machine and put some fabrics together, which would have been really nice. Maybe we could look at doing that somewhere in our zone as well, if we can find some funding. I just think it's good to get people out and doing things, isn't it?
We could do it at the tea room if you want.
That'd be perfect, yeah. Can we get a sewing machine on the table in tea?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got 2 sewing machines. The first one was the...
Well, I've got the Neshi jeans, which I use mainly for my work, and then I've got an old Singer.
Yeah. Well, not like a hand-cranked one?
No, but I do have an old hand-cranked Singer, which was my grandmother's, and it was bought during the Second World War, and I still have the handwritten receipt from when she bought it.
Because they've got all those little sort of lids and hiding spaces in them.
Yeah.
I bet you found the receipt in one of those.
I did. It was in the drawer at the front.
Yeah. They're brilliant for that. Little hidden family secrets that have been put away in the drawer in the Singer sewing machine. Great. So we were talking about things that are going on in Halzone. Obviously, people from Briley Hill listening to this show, they might want to pop over to Halzone and see you. Whereabouts are you?
If you come up to the top of the high street by Wilco's, opposite there is Hagley Road. I'm opposite the NatWest Bank. Okay. Up on the first floor.
And Facebook-wise, it's Burbo?
It's Burbo Couture, Couture with a K, so it's BURBO KTURE.
And is that Instagram as well and everything?
Instagram as well, and where else am I good?
That's just Steve crashing his way into the studio.
Hey Steve.
Hey, have you come to do another live? Yeah, mainly Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
Yeah, you've got YouTube, and is it YouTube?
I've got my YouTube channel as well, which is Burbo Couture, but I do a show on there called the Ethics Style Show, which I've got about 8 episodes up so far. Yeah, where I go and visit other sustainable businesses and talk to them. It's like a documentary series.
What are your opening times for your studio? Can you just walk in and buy off the peg as well?
You can. If the lights are on, I'm in. I'm normally in from about 11 in the morning till about 6. But if you want to make a definite appointment, then just contact me through Facebook or Instagram.